I left my own wedding last week after hearing what my fiancé really thinks of me. The night before the ceremony, my cousin texted me a voice memo. Said she recorded it by accident in the bathroom at the rehearsal dinner. I almost didn't listen. I was exhausted. We'd been doing setup all day. Centerpieces, seating charts, last-minute calls with the caterer. My phone had been going non-stop for weeks, so when I saw her message, I almost swiped it away and went to sleep. But something made me press play. My fiancé was in there with her two best friends. I heard laughing first. That kind of loose, comfortable laughing people do when they think nobody's listening. Then one of her friends goes, "So you're really going through with it tomorrow?" And my fiancé says, "Are you kidding me? The man pays for everything without me even asking. I'd be stupid not to." More laughing. I should tell you something about myself. I'm not flashy about money. I grew up with very little. My mom raised me alone after my dad left when I was 6. She worked 2 jobs for most of my childhood. We didn't take vacations. We clipped coupons. I wore the same pairs of sneakers through middle school and never said a word because I knew how hard she was working to keep the lights on. I got into a good school, chose a field that paid well, and spent my 20s being careful with every dollar I made. When I met my fiancé, I was generous because I wanted to be, not because I needed her to notice. I paid for trips because it made her happy. I covered dinners because I liked taking care of her. I helped with her rent when she was between jobs. I never kept score. I thought that's what you did when you love someone. Turns out she was keeping score for both of us. Her friend asked something I couldn't make out. Then my fiancé's voice comes through clearly. She says, "I mean, he's fine. He's reliable. But I know what I'm doing here. I give him enough to keep him happy and he funds the whole life. It's not that complicated." I sat on the edge of the bed and felt something go cold in my chest. Then they started talking about my mom. My mom who showed up 2 days early to help with decorations. My mom who learned my fiancé's favorite meals and made them every time she visited. My mom who pulled me aside 3 months into the relationship and said, "She's a good one. Don't mess it up." My mom who cried when I told her I was proposing. She has a condition that affects her movements and reaction time. She walks slowly and sometimes takes a beat to respond when you talk to her. The meds help but make her look tired even when she's completely fine. She's one of the hardest working people I've ever known. She just moves through the world a little slower than most. My fiancé knew all of this. I told her the first month we were together. She said she understood. She hugged my mom every time she saw her. She was sweet to her face every single time. On the recording, her friend asks something about seating. My fiancé says, "Just don't put me next to his mother for too long." Then she calls her something I'm not going to repeat. Says she moves like she's half asleep and makes the whole table uncomfortable. Then laughs and says, "I just smile and get through it." I played it back 3 times. I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark going through 5 years of memories, trying to figure out which ones were real and which ones were performance. The next morning, I told myself I was going to confront her before the ceremony. But when she walked into the venue looking perfectly put together, smiling at me like this was the happiest day of her life, I froze. I couldn't blow everything up in front of both families, so I got dressed, I let them pin the boutonniere on, I shook hands, I took photos, I smiled until my face hurt. The whole time, that recording was sitting in my phone like a grenade. We got to the ceremony, 250 people, both families, friends who had flown in just for this. My mom in the front row in the blue dress she bought specifically for that day. I watched my fiancé walk down the aisle and thought about every time she had smiled at my mom and said, "I love her, she's so sweet." The pastor went through the whole thing. He asked her. She said yes without hesitating. Then he turned to me. Everything went very quiet, not peaceful quiet, the kind that only happens right before something you can't undo. I looked at my mom in the front row. She was watching me with this soft, proud expression. I said no, not quietly, clearly, into the microphone. "No, I do not." The room went completely still. My fiancé's smile dropped so fast it barely looked real. Her mom grabbed her arm. Someone behind me gasped loud enough for the whole room to hear. I set the mic down on the podium, walked to my brother's table. He looked at me for half a second, then stood up without a word. We walked out through the side door. The last thing I heard before it closed behind me was my fiancé saying my name, just once. I haven't responded to a single message since.